Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter-dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1999 Delaware State Quarter. And trust me, coin lovers, this is one video you'll want to listen to very carefully. One of these quarters could be worth a fortune. Let's set the stage. In 1999, the United States Mint launched a brand new series, the 50 State Quarters program. It was a huge moment in American coinage. Every state would get its own quarter, starting with the very first state to join the Union, Delaware. That's where our story begins. The Delaware Quarter, released in early 1999, features a striking image of Caesar Rodney on horseback. Rodney was a patriot who made an epic 70-mile ride through a thunderstorm to cast his vote for American independence. That heroic ride is captured beautifully on this coin. Beneath the artwork, you'll find the words Caesar Rodney and the year 1787, marking Delaware's statehood. Now here's where it gets really interesting. While millions of these coins were minted, not all of them were created equal. Some rare versions of the 1999 Delaware Quarter contain errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. And we're not just talking about a few extra bucks. Some of these coins have sold for mind-blowing amounts. So, what kind of errors are we talking about? One of the most famous is the spitting horse error. This happens when a small die crack appears near Caesar Rodney's horse's mouth, making it look like the horse is, well, spitting. It's a tiny flaw, but collectors go crazy for it. Another sought-after mistake involves off-center strikes, where the coin design isn't properly aligned. Then there are doubled dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, often on the lettering. Even a small misprint can turn an ordinary coin into a rare and highly desirable piece of numismatic history. And here's the kicker. Coins with these rare errors, especially in mint or uncirculated condition, are incredibly hard to find. Most people use these coins in everyday transactions, meaning they've been worn down over time. But if you manage to find one that's been preserved, no scratches, no dings, and possibly with one of these rare errors, you might be holding something extraordinary. Collectors are always on the hunt for these coins because they represent a perfect storm of historical significance, rarity, and visual uniqueness. The fact that this was the first coin in the 50 State Quarters program adds even more appeal. It's a piece of history that launched a collecting craze, and it's still going strong today. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. You might be asking yourself, how much could one of these rare Delaware quarters actually be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to own a pristine 1999 Delaware quarter with a rare minting error, especially the spitting horse die crack, it could be worth as much as $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. A small coin that might be sitting in your pocket change could be worth the same as a luxury car or even a down payment on a house that's owned. Next time you come across a Delaware State Quarter, take a closer look. Check for unusual marks, doubling, or off-center designs. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem. Top 2, we're going deep into the story of the 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, a coin that might look ordinary but could secretly be worth a small fortune. So if you're a coin lover, pay close attention because this could be one of the most surprising finds in your collection. Let's talk about the coin itself. The Nebraska State Quarter was released in 2006 as part of the legendary 50 State Quarters program. Each state was honored with a unique design, and Nebraska's quarter is one of the most visually stunning in the entire series. On the reverse side, you'll find an image of a covered wagon heading west, driven by pioneers with oxen, passing in front of the towering Chimney Rock. It's a powerful tribute to the state's role in westward expansion and the courage of early American settlers. The design captures movement, history, and pride, all in a tiny piece of metal. But here's what turns this historical tribute into a treasure hunt. Some of these Nebraska quarters were struck with rare and valuable mint errors that make them incredibly sought after by collectors. One of the most talked about errors is a double die. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or images. In some Nebraska quarters, collectors have spotted doubling on the words Nebraska or e pluribus unum. It might seem like a small flaw, but it makes a big difference in the eyes of collectors. Another error that has made headlines is an off-center strike. This is when the design is misaligned, leaving a portion of the coin blank or lopsided. It's a dramatic visual error that's easy to spot and highly desirable. There are also reports of die cracks running through the wagon or oxen, small breaks in the die that leave raised lines on the coin's surface. These cracks might look like scratches, but they're actually mint-made flaws that increase a coin's value. Now, keep in mind that millions of Nebraska quarters were produced, but the error coins are incredibly rare. Most were struck perfectly and used in everyday transactions. That means finding one with a rare error, especially in uncirculated or mint condition, is like discovering buried treasure. So how can you tell if your Nebraska quarter is one of these rare ones? Start by examining it under a magnifying glass. Look closely at the text and imagery for signs of doubling. Check for unusual raised lines or die breaks, and see if the design is off-center. If you notice anything out of the ordinary, you could be holding something very special. Collectors go crazy for these coins because they tell a story. Not just the story of Nebraska, but the story of the minting process, of human error, of a small mistake that turned a common coin into a rare prize. And when you combine rarity, condition, and historical value, you've got a coin that could be worth far more than 25 cents. Now here comes the big question. How much could a 2006 Nebraska quarter with a rare mint error actually be worth? If you happen to own one of these elusive error coins, especially in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could fetch an eye-popping value of $78,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. One single Nebraska quarter could be worth $78,000 if it features the right error and is preserved in excellent shape. That is, don't underestimate the coins sitting in your change jar or tucked away in your drawer. That one quarter you almost gave away might just be the most valuable coin you'll ever own. Top 3, we're exploring the 2006 Nevada State quarter, a coin that might look ordinary but could secretly be worth a small fortune. So if you're a coin collector, a history lover, or someone who just enjoys a good treasure hunt, this is a video you won't want to miss. Let's start with the design. The Nevada State Quarter was released in 2006 as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, and it's a beauty. On the reverse, the coin features 3 wild Mustangs galloping freely across a rugged landscape, with snow-capped mountains in the background and a rising sun above them. Surrounding the horses are clusters of sagebrush, the official state flower, and the motto, the Silver State, proudly displayed. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of freedom, nature, and the wild spirit of the American West. But what truly turns this quarter into a potential gold mine is what lies beneath the surface. That's right. We're talking about rare minting errors that have made some Nevada quarters worth far more than their face value. And if you're lucky enough to spot one, you could be holding something incredibly valuable. Let's dive into the kinds of errors that can boost this coin's worth dramatically. One of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die. This is when the coin is struck twice by the die at a slight angle, causing some of the text or imagery to appear doubled. On the Nevada quarter, doubling has been reported on the words Nevada, e pluribus unum, and even around the sun's rays. It's a subtle detail, but collectors know exactly what to look for. Another rare and valuable mistake is an off-center strike. That happens when the coin isn't aligned correctly during minting, causing the design to shift off to one side. The result? A strikingly unusual coin that instantly grabs attention. Combine that with a clean, uncirculated condition and you've got something truly special. There are also known die breaks, where cracks form in the die and leave raised lines or odd marks on the coin's surface. These errors are accidental, but they create unique variations that collectors go crazy for. The more dramatic the flaw, and the better the condition of the coin, the higher the value climbs. How do you know if your Nevada quarter is one of these rare gems? First, get yourself a magnifying glass and check every detail of the coin. Look closely at the lettering, the horses, and even the sun's rays for any signs of doubling, shifting, or cracking. Don't rush it. Every tiny detail matters. Now remember, millions of Nevada quarters were minted, but only a tiny number were struck with these rare errors. And even fewer of those have survived in pristine condition. That's why collectors are always searching, always hoping to find the next rare piece that slipped through the cracks of quality control. The Nevada quarter isn't just a coin. It's a miniature work of art, a piece of state history, and for a lucky few, a valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when a small piece of change could turn into something life-changing. And now, for the moment everyone's been waiting for. If you have a 2006 Nevada state quarter with a rare minting error, especially one in mint or uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter that you might have received in your change could be worth $75,000. So before you spend that Nevada quarter, take a closer look. It just might be the most valuable coin you've ever owned. Top for we're uncovering the secrets behind the 2001 New York State quarter, one of the most exciting and potentially valuable coins in the entire 50 state quarters collection. So if you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about rare finds, get ready. This one's going to surprise you. Let's start with the story behind this coin. Released in 2001, the New York State quarter was the 11th coin in the 50 state quarters program. On the reverse, the design proudly features the Statue of Liberty in front of an outline of the state of New York. There are also 11 stars around the design, representing New York's place as the 11th state to ratify the Constitution. And right across the coin is a line representing the historic Hudson River and the Erie Canal, a true nod to New York's important role in connecting early America. It's a beautiful design, and millions of these quarters were struck and sent into circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins were minted with rare and unusual errors, mistakes made during the minting process, that have turned a few ordinary coins into incredibly valuable collector's items. So what makes some New York quarters stand out from the rest? The first type of error to look for is a double die. This occurs when the coin is struck twice with a misaligned die, creating a shadowed or doubled appearance on the lettering or images. On the New York quarter, doubling can sometimes be seen in the words New York, Gateway to Freedom, or in the fine lines of the Statue of Liberty's crown. These are subtle errors, but collectors know that small flaws like this can lead to big value. Another kind of error to watch for is an off-center strike. That means the design is not properly centered, leaving one side of the coin looking incomplete. This kind of mistake makes a coin instantly unique. Some of these off-center errors can be very dramatic, sometimes cutting off part of the statue or the state outline. You might also come across die cracks or die chips. These happen when the die used to strike the coin is damaged, causing raised lines or extra metal blobs to appear on the coin's surface. They're not always easy to spot, but when found, they add rarity and serious value. And don't forget about planchet errors. In rare cases, a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, giving it a totally different weight, color, or appearance. Imagine a silver-colored New York quarter that weighs less than it should. That could be an error coin, and it could be extremely valuable. Here's the catch. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of New York quarters, only a very small number have these rare minting errors. And even fewer have survived in perfect, uncirculated condition. That's why collectors are constantly on the hunt. They're not just looking for a coin. They're looking for a piece of minting history. So the next time you come across a 2001 New York quarter, take a closer look. Examine the lettering, the artwork, the edges. Use a magnifying glass if you have to, because if you find the right error and it's in top condition, you could be looking at something way more valuable than you ever imagined. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much can one of these rare error coins actually be worth? If you happen to own a 2001 New York State quarter with a rare minting error, especially one in pristine condition, its value could reach as high as $73,000. Yes, that's right, $73,000 for a single quarter. So before you spend that New York quarter, check it carefully. That little piece of change could be your ticket to an unexpected treasure. Top 5. We're uncovering the secrets of the United States of America New Hampshire State Quarter. And believe me, coin lovers, this one is not just about history. It's about rare errors, collector thrills, and a shocking price tag at the end. Let's take a trip back to the year 2000, when the U.S. Mint released the New Hampshire State Quarter as part of its popular 50 state quarters program. The design on the reverse side of this coin is both striking and symbolic. It features the iconic rock formation known as the Old Man of the Mountain, a natural profile carved into the side of a cliff. long seen as a proud symbol of the Granite State. Alongside it are the words, "Live free or die," New Hampshire's bold state motto. It's a coin that captures strength, independence, and rugged beauty, all in one small piece of metal. Now, millions of these quarters were minted and circulated across the country. But here's where things get really exciting. Some of these coins aren't like the others. A few were struck with rare and unusual errors that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. And if you're lucky enough to spot one, you might be holding on to something truly extraordinary. So, what kinds of errors are we talking about? One of the most valuable errors found on the New Hampshire quarter is the doubled die. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, resulting in a doubling effect on the text or images. On this coin, that could mean doubled lettering in the words New Hampshire or Live Free or Die, or even a shadowy second outline around the Old Man of the Mountain. These doubled details can be tough to spot, but they make a huge difference in value. Another major error to watch for is an off-center strike. That's when the design isn't properly aligned during minting and part of the image is cut off. The result is a unique, eye-catching coin that collectors absolutely love. The more off-center the strike, and the better the condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there are die cracks and die chips. These are tiny flaws that appear as raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin, usually caused by worn or damaged minting tools. While these imperfections might seem small, in the world of collecting, they can boost a coin's rarity and demand point. One of the most exciting and rarest errors of all is a wrong planchet strike. That's when the New Hampshire quarter design is accidentally struck on a coin blank mint for another denomination, like a dime or foreign coin. These mistakes are extremely rare and often fetch the highest prices. But here's the key detail. Condition matters. A New Hampshire quarter with one of these rare errors is valuable, but if it's in mint or uncirculated condition, that's when things get truly exciting. Coins that were never used, with sharp details and no wear, are the ones collectors dream of finding. So before you toss that state quarter back into your change jar, take a second look. Grab a magnifying glass and check the details closely. Look at the lettering, examine the profile of the mountain, and inspect the edges. You never know. You might be holding on to something worth far more than 25 cents. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how much can one of these rare 2000 New Hampshire state quarters be worth if it features a rare error and is in pristine condition? If you have one of these extraordinary coins, its value could reach as high as $70,000. That's right, $70,000 for a single state quarter. Not bad for something that might be sitting unnoticed in your collection or pocket. If you enjoyed this journey into coin history and hidden treasures, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the next rare coin spotlight. There's a world of value waiting to be discovered, and you just might be holding it. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.